Hello, I'm glad you are here today, and welcome to the Sisterhood of Motherhood podcast sponsored by Family Tree Ministries. I am Nancy Morale, your host. The Sisterhood of Motherhood is building a community to share insights and information to all mothers for encouragement and to provide solutions and reassurance for the journey. We all need it. I need it. Everybody that's a mother needs it. And I hope your children are doing well today, no matter how small they are or how old they are. So today we're going to go over some important details. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I've been doing with this podcast and just some introduction of some information I am involved with, and also read a poem about I Am My Mother's Garden to inspire you for motherhood. We're going to go over some detailed educational information about diagnostic placement testing, homeschooling, and describing a really inexpensive, high-quality curriculum if you want to do it for remediation for your children, even if they're in public school or a private brick-and-mortar school. So we're also going to go over some daily goal charts and how to use them for children, and a special Clyde's Garden Planter expose. I'm going to go over that with you. So the first thing I wanted to go over is what's going on with the podcast. We are listed now with, I guess, about 9 different distributors, and one of them is actually distributing, or directories they call it, sending the podcast out to about 8 other directories, just one of these distributors. And I'm really excited. It's going to reach a lot of people, and I hope you keep coming back. I want to try to get these up twice a month, and then eventually go to weekly and be a place of contact for you for information about motherhood, about homemaking, homeschooling, education and details, anything you might have regarding even career placement, high schoolers going into college, as well as the babies in the preschool and elementary, middle school. Middle school's the roughest. If any of you agree with me, you can give me a comment. Middle school's the roughest for families and for children. I am a high school dropout. Dropped out in 10th grade. Matter of fact, one of my student testimonials at the end, a student describes how horrible they felt in public school before they joined a homeschool program. And I share this student's sentiments exactly. I just could not take it, quit at 10th grade. So I went back and got my bachelor's degree and my master's degree in education. I found out I really loved learning, and I think a lot of people really love learning, but they are not given the opportunity to explore and learn. So you almost have to be self-taught. You have to have those critical thinking skills. There used to be a class in public school called critical thinking, and it was back in, I guess, the late 70s, 80s, and they did away with that class, and it was valued and prized to learn how to think critically, to be discerning, to discriminate. I mean, it was important. We're supposed to be fruit inspectors as Christians, and then that's not judging people, but we're supposed to look at their fruit. So that's basically what's been going on with the podcast, and the format, I'm not changing it. I'm going to do video and send the audio out to all these different directories. And this is my Sisterhood of Motherhood office right here in my home, in my dining room, or a corner of my dining room. So anyway, I want to welcome you again and thank you for being here, and I hope you find this information inspirational. I'm going to start off with the category of defining mothers, and this is a little poem called I Am My Mother's Garden. It's really an awesome poem. My mother kept a garden of the heart. She planted all the good things that gave my life its start. She turned me to the sunshine and encouraged me to dream, fostering and nurturing the seeds of self-esteem. And when the winds and rain came, she protected me enough, but not too much, because she knew I need to stand up strong and tough. Her constant good example always taught me right from wrong, markers for my pathway that will last a lifetime long. I am my mother's garden. I am her legacy, and I hope Today she feels the love reflected back from me. Vincent Tripolone III. My two daughters, I have three children, and my two daughters, we just have such a great relationship. They're very independent, but they give me compliments, like one said, "Mom, you're my constant." I thought that was pretty cool. And my other daughter, she's always depending on me and calling me and bouncing things off of me when and sharing joys with me. I mean, those are all signs of a good relationship. And they're young adults, you know, and they have families now. So as I am my mother's garden, I hope you can become a garden for your family and your children as well. Now we're going to go on to some education information. And because I'm an educator, I believe a lot of this content in these podcasts will be about education. And I don't want to lean on just homeschooling, because I know a lot of my audience, you're not going to be homeschoolers. You'd love to. I'm sure you'd love to, but you just can't. It's a lifestyle change, and you probably wish you could. Maybe you can if you make a lot of sacrifices. I will say that if you are close to being able to homeschool, and there's just a few sacrifices you have to make, give it a try for 6 months. If you don't like it, you can go back. But I'm telling you, you'll understand the freedom and the potency and the depth of living, let alone educational experiences, when you are a homeschooling family. So we're going to just, I'm going to introduce you to a couple quick educational options. The first is about the ACE School of Tomorrow PACE workbooks, and I'm going to describe them. I'm also going to describe some diagnostic placement testing and what that even means. And the first thing I will show you, or I'll go over with you before I show you the video, it's about a minute-long video on what are PACE workbooks. The School of Tomorrow PACE workbooks are created by the ACE, which stands for Accelerated Christian Education Company. And they have a pamphlet called Answer to the Crisis in Education. And this pamphlet, if it were adopted and embraced by our education leaders, it would solve so much. First of all, the Department of Education is not listed in the Constitution, so I don't even know why the federal government has a Department of Education. But I am going to advise them at the federal level and, of course, the state level, but also moms and dads. If you just listen to the 5 tips in this brochure, it would help your child be successful, as well as you, adult learners, to be successful. 5 things, the 5 laws of learning. 1, students must be at individual levels where they can perform. Students must be at individual levels where they can perform. You do not see this offered to students when you shove 30 kids in a classroom with one direct instructor. Everybody is in the same box, and they try their best to accommodate and spoof off what they can, but it's not designed for individual levels. 2, reasonable goals must be set. I believe that if you're a AB student and you don't want to do homework, don't do homework if it's just a repetitious thing, and let the families decide. Reasonable goals must be set. For those that are not academically proficient in the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, they should not be concerning themselves with all the peripheral activities in classes, for the most part, maybe an exception here or there, until they have learned reading, writing, and arithmetic. So the reasonable goals must be set for those students. They need to focus more heavily until they get up to par. 3rd law of learning, students must be controlled and motivated. Big problem in the public school system. Behavior, number 1 issue. It's distracting, it's demoralizing, it's discouraging, and students must be controlled and motivated. motivated to learn, not motivated through peer pressure to act out. That's law 3. So we have law 4. Learning must be measurable. Very simple. Criterion reference testing, not this outcome-based education, which basically in a nutshell is you describe a student's effort, how it would look, how their effort shows, and if they are putting forth the effort, they get the A. That's outcome-based. Well, that's criterion reference testing is pretty much the opposite. Can you complete that math problem correctly or not? So learning must be measurable, law number 4. And the last one, learning must be rewarded. That's where you put in things like, okay, you don't have to do homework if you're pulling an A or a B, or you can have a 4-day school week if, or whatever. Or you can go on to band and art and music and cheerleading after you're at least a C level in reading, writing, and arithmetic. So that's rewards, really simple. So again, the 5 laws of learning, you can instill this in your children in your home, even though they go to a school, but if you're a homeschooling family as well. All of these 5 laws of learning are awesome. First, be at individual levels. Second, set reasonable goals. Third, students must be controlled and motivated. And 4, learning must be measurable. And 5, learning must be rewarded. So that is the answer to the crisis in education. There you go, it's solved. At least we hope, right? Okay, so let's listen to this video real quickly about what are PACES and what is ACE School of Tomorrow.
Accelerated Christian Education is a Bible-based K-12 and college curriculum that's been used by pastors, supervisors, and homeschool parents for more than 50 years in 145 countries around the globe. ACE is more than just a curriculum. It's a Bible-based program dedicated to reaching the world for Christ, one child at a time. ACE's academic curriculum is broken down into bite-sized, colorful workbooks called PACES, which are carefully designed to develop thinking skills and create mastery learning. PACES are full of innovative learning activities, godly character-building lessons, and Bible verses. ACE student programs like regional and international student conventions give opportunities to serve and to learn leadership skills outside the classroom.
Okay, the School of Tomorrow PACE workbook program has a diagnostic placement test, which will tell you exactly where your student lands in the levels. And I'll describe them to you in layman's terms. Every grade level is numbered. 1 through 12 is first grade, 13 to 24 is second grade in these workbooks, and on up to 12th grade. And you have 12 books in math, 12 books in English, 12 books in language arts, or 12 books in science. So the diagnostic placement test will say, hey, your student is ready to begin their program on PACE book number 12 in English and number 19 in math. And guess what? You bring them in and you start them in those workbooks. Now, they don't know that this represents, one might represent 3rd grade and one might represent 4th grade. They don't really know that. And the way the workbooks go is they do about 5 pages a day, and they close their workbooks up and they're done with that subject. And all the concepts are spoon-fed in very small increments, so they cannot get lost in these books. They were designed actually for missionaries, and they're interdenominational. They just use the words like biblically based and biblical foundation to life and learning. And they even have PACE books for parents to teach parents how to parent better. It's just such a godsend, this ministry and this curriculum. So please feel free to avail yourself of the ACE Ministries. I think it's aceministries.org or aceschooloftomorrow.com. I wanted to also offer you on our website, Family Tree Homeschool, we have goal charts that are free for download. I strongly recommend that you use them. You can even use them for non-academic things. But the way the goal charts work is the students take responsibility for their own learning, and they write down on Monday, for instance, let's say they're going to do pages, 3 through 9 in this workbook and 7 through 10 in that book, and they're going to spend 45 minutes on sewing, and they write down all of these goals, okay, on Monday. And the way the goal charts work is you all agree on the goals, and then they take their goal chart and they do their work, and then when they're finished with that goal, they neatly cross the goal out on this chart, and they set the next day's goal themselves. Goal setting in and of itself is an education. You as parent would monitor and agree or disagree with how they're writing things. And the way it would work is they set their workbooks and books and papers and goal chart in a special place at the end of your school day period, which is also flexible as well. Then you go at your leisure as a parent and you look and see what they said they did and what they plan to do tomorrow. And every day it's the same like this. And remember, going back to homeschooling, I know a lot of you may not be homeschoolers, but homeschooling, it's not like you are the direct instructor and you are a classroom teacher sitting at a table. 3/4 of homeschool curricula is self-instructional. The goal charts are kind of a focal point for the two of you to meet at. So please feel free to go, and there's some that are goal charts that are more geared toward high schoolers and some for elementary school. And you can even use these goal charts for appointments. I'm going to the dentist today. I'm being rewarded and can take Friday off because I did such and such. So the goal charts, and you also save the goal chart and a sample of your students' work into folders for a portfolio. So these portfolios are built contemporaneously, which means as it happens. And this is a great resource for you and your student to use to make a scrapbook one day, or also to show a teacher who might be doing an evaluation for homeschooling, or family members as well. A lot of these methods I'm talking about can be used even if your student is not a homeschooler. You don't have to accept exactly everything that the teachers say. You don't give them a hard time, please, though. I was a public school teacher for a long time. And you have to be reasonable, but some of the stuff they do is not the 5 laws of learning. It's not measurable. It's not individualized. It's not motivated. So if you're articulate and concise enough, maybe you can help your child out so they don't drop out of school like I did in 10th grade. As you know, we have to fight for our values. We have to fight to put them in place in our society and in our schools as well. The goal charts, I think, will be very helpful for you in one form or another, so please go to familytreehomeschool.com. It's familytreehomeschool.com. And I'm going to go on to my next topic today, which is our Clyde's Garden Planner. This is under my garden and family farming section, which, just to let you know, I operate with my husband a family farm. We have sheep, goats, and chickens, greenhouses. I do irrigation. I deal with all the animals. My husband does a lot of the building, the barns, and the plowing, and we grow a lot of food. And I love that lifestyle, only because, well, first of all, it's healthy. I know that the meat I'm getting, it's so hard to go back to store-bought meat or fast food when you eat fresh farm meat. And it's healthy. It's just healthy. It's mentally healthy as well. In the mornings I go out and I walk around my farm, and I'm like a Mrs. Dr. Dolittle when I walk outside. I'm telling you, it's the funniest thing. I'll have my chickens following me. I'll have the two outdoor cats. Those are my hunters. They take care of all the rats and mice and snakes and everything. They're following me with the chickens. And then my 2 dogs are following me, and then the goats and the sheep are bleating or whatever the word is, when they make their noises, oh, here comes the food. And it's really neat. And then they all quiet down when they get their grain and they get their pellets, and I check the water and I check the hay. That's my morning routine. It's at daybreak. It is so peaceful. So a little sidetrack. Oh yeah, and the Clyde's Garden Planner is something that I came across on Doug and Stacy. What's the name of their YouTube channel, Doug and Stacy. I just know them by Doug and Stacy. You probably know who they are if you watch a lot of YouTube channel on prepping and homesteading. But anyway, the Clyde's Garden Planner is a card inside a card that slides out back and forth, and it lines up your plant or your vegetable with a different time of year and when you're supposed to plant it, either indoors, plant it in the field. It tells you the companion plants that are important to plant next to them to repel bugs and pests. It tells you if it needs partial sun, full sun. It tells you how many inches of water on average this plant needs weekly. It tells you the harvest dates. And I don't know what else it says, but that's enough. It also tells you how deep to plant the seeds. And it's such a concise piece of information that you can double check what you're learning through other books maybe, or through your extension office in your county for planting. But the Clyde's Garden Planner is kind of like my major go-to when it's a certain time of year and I'm starting to think about, summer, fall planting. So check out Clyde's Garden Planner. It's Clydes. You won't be disappointed. I got one for both of my daughters, and my son has 5 acres. But you'll like Clyde's. The sliding card in and out, you slide it based on your last frost date, expected frost date, and first a date of possible frost, and that's also provided for you on this little planner. So you will really like it. Clyde's Garden Planner. And now I want to close with teen graduation thoughts and letters. And this is what I told you. One of them kind of has the sentiment I had when I was going in public high school many years ago. But first I'm going to just read, there's just 3 of these, and they're pretty short. The first one, and these are students that were homeschoolers, but they homeschooled under Family Tree Ministries, which is the sponsor of this podcast, the Sisterhood of Motherhood. And all of this information is for you, for moms, to help you be good moms and just to know different things about education issues and family and home issues, and to be encouraged and to be that garden like we read at the opener. So these students joined Family Tree Private School, which is a private school exclusively for homeschooling families, listed with the Department of Education, and they get report cards and transcripts and whatnot, but they homeschool 100% homeschoolers. So here is the first one. It's short. It says, "Thank you so much for everything you do. Your ministry has helped me in tremendous ways, and I'm extremely happy and satisfied with the time I spent in Family Tree. I no longer feel like high school was a waste of my time or knowledge. I feel I can honestly say that I enjoyed learning in Family Tree Private School more than any other educational system or curriculum I have experienced. You cater specifically to the individual and unique needs of the students in your school. You understood all of my frustrations with the public school system and its curriculum. Your ministry is one amazing breath of fresh air in a country full of boring, institutionalized educating." And it's like, I feel like I can almost cry a little bit when I think about this and all the testimonials, because that point of revelation, hey, you're worth something. Hey, there's an answer. Hey, I'm not stuck. It's just very moving that you see people rise to that. Here's another one. Everyone is unique. They have their passions, their dreams, their personality, their desires, their fears. Some people are misunderstood right from birth. Some hate to fit in to that mold set before them, telling them to shape into what they should be. Some desire to be entirely unique, longing to be who they were meant to be, who God made them to be. I am that sort of person. I remember the first time I walked into a high school. It was my worst fear coming to life, the institution that expected the same thing from every student. That demanded I learned information useless to me and my passions. I was there and I loathed it wholeheartedly. It felt so wrong. It felt like such a waste of my time. I was not learning a single thing that could help me in my desired future and unique career. I couldn't handle it. So I was moved from high school to high school, trying to find one that would not feel like a waste of time. Trying online schools, art schools, public schools, I couldn't find a school that I didn't immediately feel anxious after entering. I always felt like I was learning useless information or not learning anything at all. It also did not help that I was a quiet, introverted person. So in closing, I just want to let you know we are supported by Family Tree Ministries, and we welcome your letters and donations. Send letters to P.O. Box 775, Lee, Florida 32059. Our fundraiser this month is a special offer for your homeschooler or even a student that did something special at home that you want to give them a certificate for. It's a student certificate of achievement in an area for which they are deserving. And this is a colorful certificate of achievement with an embossed corporate seal from Family Tree Homeschool showing our corporate ID number and Florida Department of Education ID number. And you can award this to your child for their special achievement. This certificate is awarded through parental affirmation and is our fundraiser for the month. The suggested donation is $20. Please mail all the information you want on this certificate to Family Tree Ministries, P.O. Box 775, Lee, Florida 32059. Or you can email me from our website, familytreehomeschool.com. Please stay alert for our next episode of the Sisterhood of Motherhood, and take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Have a great day. Thank you.